I got sick coming back from Midwest Gaming Classic, so I'm hoping I don't get sick after PAX.
This is like a traveling thing, maybe. Just
I think I just have a weak immune system right now.
Yeah.
And as they say, you know, the convention...
You get the con
crud.
The con crud. Being around
Mine
that
felt
many
less
people.
like crud. It was more just head cold.
It's like a mixture of being around a lot of people, probably like just being overly tired. So you're like, and traveling. So your immune system's already low from all of that. And so it's just, you're susceptible to all things at that point.
And also karma. Karma has to balance out because you have a real good time. You go someplace and have fun. And the universe is like, that's not, come on. That's
you
not
can't
okay.
have that much fun.
You got to balance this out a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's give you a runny nose and a headache. That makes sense.
There's got to be a little bit of suffering in there.
A little bit of suffering.
Hi there, and welcome to the JRPG Pursuit, a podcast for all things JRPGs. I'm Emily.
I'm Branden.
I'm Abdallah.
And today we have quite a topic for you guys, I think leading up to some interesting releases coming out this fall, all about monster taming kind of as a genre, or rather a subgenre in JRPGs. And so Dallah and I both have some experience playing some of these so-called monster taming games. Branden a little less so, but we figured today we wanted to really just kind of comb out what experiences we had and what we think the future of this subgenre in JRPGs is kind of heading.
Yeah, I'm fully expecting you guys to 100% sell me on Pokemon as a franchise, and I'm going to be diving into the whole series after this conversation. So no pressure, but that's kind of where my expectations are at. So
no pressure at all.
Get me
no
there.
Pressure. I guess before we start, though, just a quick shout out to our members. Thank you so much for all the support you guys have given us. And we have a ton of fun over at our Discord channel for members. And we hope you guys are also enjoying all of our extra content for the Pursuer level. So I guess without further ado, shall we get on to the discussion? Dallah, where did you start with monster taming games?
Oh, boy. Okay, so I think like most kids in our generation, maybe, we all kind of started from a monster taming perspective with Pokemon.
Yeah, excluding Branden.
Excluding Branden. Branden's
an odd one.
He's an anomaly.
Well, and I could have, to be clear, like we had Pokemon Red in my house.
He just
decided not to.
I decided I opted out. It was my brother's technically, and I was like, "Oh, a baby game for babies? No, thank you. I'm a grown up now. I'm 14." So
he's a big boy, 14-year-old.
14.
Yeah, he was too cool for school. But I think like I'm trying to remember. Like, so for me, I actually have my. I started with Blue.
Oh, Blue Boy.
That was, but I ended up getting Red as well. Of course, as you do.
Did you choose Blue?
Yes, because I don't know. Everyone was getting Red.
Red seemed the most popular. Yeah,
it was the most popular, and so like I ended up exactly like Charizard's cool and everything like that. But I already knew I had friends that I could trade with because I knew like the idea of it
at that point.
Yeah, this is like
you were way ahead of the game.
Big brain, like little me.
Big brain, little me.
So I was playing the long game on that one. So I ended up getting this one, and it came like it was. I'm trying to remember where we bought it from. I don't know if it was from like Kmart or something, where they had a pack that came with like a Game Boy Pocket. And the Pokemon, a strategy guide, a link cable, and might have been one more thing. I don't remember exactly what it was.
Wow.
But it was like this like giant, like, plastic pack that I remember getting.
I remember seeing those. Now that you say that, I remember seeing those in stores.
Yeah. So like, that's when I finally got it. That's like the pack I got. And it was probably like at a discount or something like that. And so I got that, and like, it was like pure obsession right away. Like I played the heck out of that game, and I was already planning with friends. I was like, all right, like somebody needs to start up a new game so I can take their Charizard and I'll give you or I could take their like Charmander and you can take my Squirtle and we can just kind of switch it off or whatever it is. Like you can do all that stuff. But that's kind of where I got the start from. Like, Gen 1 with like a lot of our generation kind of started there. How about you, Emily?
I didn't actually start with Gen 1, though I guess I could have. I was the right age around the time. I had a younger brother, so I think my parents were waiting for him to grow up a little bit more before we started getting more into the handheld gaming sort of sphere. So I didn't start until second gen with Pokemon Silver and the Game Boy Color.
Oh, yeah.
And like Dalla, I was obsessed. We went on so many different car rides and car trips around our state. And I would always bring that with me. I was definitely the one between my brother and I to mostly play Pokemon and just keep restarting it and trying different teams out and just having fun.
I know. It's like thinking about it in the car. It's like you know that like I know some people on TikTok and other places, they do like nostalgic videos where like as they like emulate their kid self in the backseat of a car and they're driving and there's like the headlights, the lights,
the street lights,
like illuminating your screen every 15 to 20 seconds. And then you're just catch a glimpse of what you're doing as you're going that way. If you didn't have like a worm light or something like that,
they weren't backlit back then.
No, exactly. Unless you had like one of the, add-ons that you put on top of it. Yep. I did get one of those as well.
That well, but I had one. I also had one of those like magnifiers that you stick on that also is supposed to like light it up. It worked okay. It wasn't that great either.
They're fine.
I'm jealous of you folks that could like play Game Boys and stuff in the car. I would get so sick if I tried for like 2 seconds. I would get so sick. Maybe I would be a handheld gamer if I could have played in the car. Because I trained
myself. Like I definitely got sick initially, but I'm like, I was determined. I want to play this game.
I was so averse to that feeling. I was like, nope, never doing it again. Not touching it.
I would force my way through that feeling, I think, initially.
Because I was in the car just so much. Like my parents came to California, like when I was born, and they wanted to visit the entire state. So we just went everywhere around the state when I was a kid. So I was always in the car.
And I'm like one of 5 siblings. And so like we're always running around doing things for everyone else. So like I would always just bring it with me and I would just like, it'd be something to do while I I was being dragged around with other things.
Yeah. Yeah. And the soccer mom van probably, right?
Basically. Yeah.
Going to and from everyone's practices.
Very middle America type situation. Yeah.
Same here. But I actually went backwards after loving Pokemon Silver so much, and I got Pokemon Yellow. And it was just so novel to have Pikachu follow you around. And after, you beat the second gen games and you're open to Kanto instead of Johto. I always get them mixed up.
You start in Johto in second gen.
Johto, and then it opens up to Kanto, the original region. And so it's cool to kind of start from the beginning after, going backwards, I guess, in a way.
Yeah. That was my favorite part of playing those games because I remember when I played those, I was like, wait, you can just go back and play through the original game too? It blew my mind.
I didn't realize it was the original game. Well, I guess I did because I watched a little bit of the anime when I was a kid. And so I was familiar with, I guess, the original story and all that. But for me, it was like, oh, there's a second game here. This is amazing.
I know. That was so much fun. It was like a very like distinct point in time. It's like super nostalgic to me. Like Monster, like I know like maybe in this day and age, I'm not as like heavy on monster taming games, but like that style of game is definitely very much a core memory. So like it's something I look back on nostalgically. Like, like Pokemon, I do love Pokemon despite my current feelings. And I think we'll get into that as we go.
There's still, I think, like a deep-seated fondness for Pokemon that we grew up with. We might not necessarily like or agree with where it's gone, but I think what we experienced as kids, we still have a lot of great memories. And that's why I still keep buying, Pokemon plushes and things that remind me of those fond memories.
I see your nice little Pokeball
right there in the background. It's astonishing to think that they were able to make a series that was so beloved that people still love it as much as they did, despite the most recent, however many generations of games kind of being dog crap. Like everybody hates them and is mad at them, but they still love the series. Like they have such a, such a good thing on their hands.
Such a grasp on us, I think.
And they're like mismanaging this wonderful thing that they have.
But also, like, despite the so-called poor games and everything, they're still able to capture a new generation of devotees, if you will.
Right.
Yeah.
You look at, the young kids now. They still love it.
it's interesting because like it's so polarizing with like nostalgia. So like there's a lot of us like, you know, so I feel like Emily, you and I are probably in that same boat, and there's like quite a few other people as well, like in terms of like they are able to be critical of something they're nostalgic of. And so like I'm critical of like, you know, I love Pokemon and I love growing up with Pokemon and playing those games, but I'm still like critical of how like they've kind of developed their last game or like the last couple of games or last game in general, especially if you look at Violet and stuff like that. But then there are like, you know, those who are like, you know, with the discourse online, you'll have those who are like, doesn't matter, it's still Pokemon. Like,
and they're able to also play it, you know, in a different way. Like they go shiny hunting or they're trying to do challenges. And so they have fun doing that in that framework still without, you know, necessarily playing the games as they were intended, at least for a younger audience.
Exactly. And they look, and a lot of them, it's easier for them to look past like technical issues or problems and things like that. And that's like, you know, that's why they like, no matter, even with Violet being in such a bad state when it came out, it still sold like no other. Like Pokemon is still the number one like brand like out there, bigger than Disney, bigger than everything. Like it's wild how big Pokemon is.
And I think just the, you know, the 98th of a turn of what they improve, people go gaga over. Like we see, you know, these huge models of, you know, things we would have loved to have seen as kids, you know, be realized in some way. Maybe it's not the best way they've been doing it, but it's still in like, you know, there's some sort of technical improvements in some respect, you know, of bringing these things to life.
Exactly. I always find it funny when people like were like, oh, they show like a picture of Violet, like, you know, a picture of the beautiful world. And I look at it and I'm just like, it's the ugliest thing. Unfortunately,
other games. It's
I know. Comparison, like
they seem to be content based on what you're saying and what I've seen. They seem to be content with just like capturing the new audience and not doing as much to retain the audience that they had as it gets older, which you could argue
I think they
is
don't have to put as much effort into it.
Yeah, like you could argue that it's a fine strategy, right? Like you said, they're still, you know, the top franchise. So, you know, like it is what it is, I guess. Maybe they'll change. Maybe they'll get better.
Maybe they dismantled at some point, but so far it's not looking that way, is it?
I mean, it's working for them because like at the end of the day, like even the old audience, like they want the mechanics of a Pokemon game and they like Pokemon for that reason. And so like they're going to keep playing it as long as, you know,
that's true. The old audience doesn't like it, but they still buy it. So it's like, functionally you're sending a very confusing message.
Exactly. Sure. And that's why like, you know, a lot of people are like, you should vote with your like, you know, wallet and make sure that like Pokemon Company or like, you know, they understand that they should be giving out, you know, good product. But at the same time, everyone wants to buy it. So like, it's just like, it never ends up happening, so they can just keep doing what they do. But like, I don't know, maybe one day it'll get.
I mean, I think if we ever do a Pokemon centric episode, doing a deep dive on some of their decisions would be good, because there's a lot to say about Game Freak and the Pokemon Company and what role Nintendo has in all of that, which is lesser than I think a lot of people think. But you know, they own what, 40% of Pokemon Company or whatever, Game Freak, doesn't matter.
Something like that. We can for a more Pokemon centric episode. We can be
to shift gears. I'm pretty sure my first monster collecting game was Jade Cocoon. Are you familiar with Jade Cocoon?
No.
That's monster. That's monster collecting, right? Like I'm remembering.
Yeah,
right?
You collect monsters in that.
Okay.
I was totally forgot about that one.
That was a PlayStation 1 game. And I remember very, very little about it. I think I just rented it. So I think I had it for like maybe 3 nights or something. But that was my first monster collecting experience. It did not resonate with me. I don't remember associating it in my mind with Pokemon. I didn't remember thinking like, oh, this is like Pokemon, but a PlayStation game. It felt like a distinct thing to me. But to be fair, I hadn't really played Pokemon either. I just kind of vaguely knew what it was about. So maybe it makes sense that I didn't associate them together. But I didn't really play another explicitly monster collecting game until, God, was I like 35?
Oh, wow.
As far as I can recall, I didn't really play any until I was about that age. I played SMT 3 Nocturne.
Yeah. Okay.
So
definitely.
I mean, and SMT is a great series. Did
People don't
SMT come out
necessarily
before
associate
Pokemon?
it right away as a monster taming series.
Right. It took a minute for me to register in
It
my
kind
mind
of,
too.
I
that
would
it
say,
was,
almost transcends that in a way.
There's I would say there's more to it than just the monster collecting, or it's like it's a smaller. It's not as emphasized, maybe.
No. There's some other SMT games. I would say it's more emphasized. Like the tactical games, definitely. Like you need to have better demons in order to, advance.
Sure. They are. I mean, they do kind of pretty much make up the majority of your party. You have your main character, and then you have the 3 slots of monsters that you can fill. I don't know. Like, it didn't so much feel like that to me. I didn't spend a lot of time collecting demons in SMT3. I like the first 3 or 4 that I got. I just powered them up and just stuck with them for pretty much the whole game.
Does that have a demon fusion system too?
It does. It does.
Okay.
I barely did any of it because, like I said, I just was focused on the 3 or 4 that I got first. It's like it's kind of how I am with all all JRPGs with parties. It's like whatever characters I fill up my party with first, those are probably the ones I'm going to use the whole game because like I don't want to learn new stuff. Get out of here. Like I got my party already. I figured it out. Leave me alone. So I don't know. Did you guys? So Emily, you played SMT4. Did you play SMT3?
Not 3.
Not 3.
4, and then the 2 tactical games.
Okay.
On the 3DS.
Yeah. I think Nocturne might have been my first SMT game as well. I'm trying to think. I think it was my first SMT.
So do you guys think it's appropriate to call that the adult Pokemon? Because like Branden was saying, he didn't associate it with the monster taming genre.
Yeah.
Much.
Well, because like I think our brains associate monster taming with Pokemon.
Cute
since like that's where like like that's like when we think of monster taming, like because like that was our first interaction with monster taming games. It was probably Pokemon. Like there's people probably who started with like Dragon Quest Monsters back on what was the first one on?
Game Boy.
Game Boy.
So like
or Game Boy Color.
If that was your like introduction to monster taming games, then maybe you'd think of it that way.
Yeah.
Same thing, the same kind of method of it. But I mean, it's like similar in it's the same concept of like monster taming.
You're not battling yourself. Sensei. You have to, gather a party of not humans.
Exactly.
To battle for you.
And I think like SMT takes it to the next level with being able to fuse and do things like that like Pokemon initially didn't do as much until you got into like breeding and things like that.
Yeah.
But like I think SMT could be considered the adult version because of like the more complexity that goes into it, the adult themes that surround it in general.
Yeah. And there's actually like there's an additional layer I think in SMT that you don't as much see in like the Pokemon games, where with the Pokemon games you are capturing creatures without their consent, let's say, right? Whereas in SMT you have to convince you have to can bargain, bribe, convince somehow these intelligent, because they're all intelligent, they can all talk. So you're having to convince these creatures to join you. So that also feels kind of different and maybe makes it feel a little more on the mature side. Even
higher
though
stakes too.
Yeah, bigger stakes because they might be like, no, screw you, and then attack you. So there's actually like you could be nervous choosing. And the other thing is like it's pretty I wouldn't say random, but like the questions, the conversations you have with the demons in SMT, they're pretty nonsense. Like
they're ridiculous sometimes.
There's not a clear way to answer.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there is, and I just don't understand it. But I was always like,
isn't.
That seems strange.
I've never figured out a clear way to.
Yeah.
Like I've tried to. But no, it's interesting because like that's like the one thing I enjoyed about, because like I love Pokemon, but I've always thought about it. I'm like, man, if there was like a more adult take on Pokemon, and SMT does that, but even if there was like a more adult take on like the actual Pokemon world too, like would be cool.
I remember, this is sort of a tangent, but I remember reading a fan fiction back when I was like 14, 15 years old. That was like, it was Pokemon, but it was framed as though it were like a game about like a more dark, mature take on Pokemon. And I remember reading that and being like, oh, this would be cool, like if they made a game like this. And I think at first I thought it was based on a game, so I was like, ooh, I got to find out what game this is. Now it's just made up. But yeah, there was something appealing about that to me. I think because, again, I just missed it. Like, seriously, if it had come out a year before, when I was primarily the one playing the Game Boy, in the house, there's a very good chance that I would have gotten sucked into it too, but it just missed me. It went to my brother. And so that was like a kid thing. Like, that was a kid thing. And I was like, there's elements of it that I'm like, that sounds fun. It sounds like it'd be cool. But it wasn't, it didn't fit the brooding, mature angst theme that I was kind of entering into at that point.
I know, like at 14 years old, you're probably deep into that Sega Genesis life. Like you do, Sega does what Nintendo don't. And you were playing bloody games like Mortal Kombat. And like,
I played, we had Mortal Kombat on the Super Nintendo. So just the sweat, but then Mortal Kombat 2 came out and I was like, taboo. We got some blood. We got some gore. So that was cool. But mature Pokemon would be interesting. Yeah. It would be.
Keep going. Sorry.
Is this like, how people want Persona to be like set in the college situation? Like at maturity?
There's an element to, as we age, we often want the things that we love to age with us.
And
sometimes. Some people also like it to stay the same, to remind them in their childhood.
True. When we want it to age with us, though, like we feel like it's leaving us behind, even though it's not. We're leaving it behind, right? If I grow up and I'm like, oh, I'm not interested in this franchise anymore because it's too childish, like the franchise hasn't changed. I've changed, right? Sure. But I think that it's perfectly valid for an audience to say to a developer or to publisher, like, I would love to continue being a customer of yours, but you have to kind of meet me where I am as the person who's making the product. You have to meet me where I am if you want me to be your customer. It sounds like Game Freak and the Pokemon Company are kind of fine with what they're doing. Like, they're not looking to meet the older customers where they are. They're focused on the customers that they have in front of them. And it also
Personally,
helps.
I think they have almost kind of adopted, but in a different sense. Not necessarily the games have grown up, but people who have grown up can introduce it to their children.
Sure.
I think that's what they did with the Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu stuff. Like, that was a way to involve parents and kind of spring this new generation of new Pokemon devotees.
Right. Yeah. Very smart marketing, honestly.
And the complexity of like the mechanics. So like Eevee, like IV training and things like that people go into. It's a lot more like, goes over your head as a kid. And then
the shiny hunty stuff. I didn't know.
Shiny hunty stuff like that. Like for me, like I never went deep into the mechanics in that way. Like I never was that's like the difference between, I think, the people who really will buy Pokemon no matter what, and like someone like me who kind of like, I just like enjoy like playing the game. Like I still experiencing, but like that's where like I come in saying like, oh, I want this to be more. If it had like a more adult, if there was a version of this that could be a more adult tone, because I do enjoy like just playing through the game and enjoying like the process of playing the game. But it would be nice to see like a shift. But that's not.
I don't necessarily need an adult tone. I just would like it to be more of a narrative base that's engaging.
Well, I was just going to say, like, adult tone to me doesn't mean necessarily boobs and blood, right? Like a lot of people consider that adult, mature, or whatever. To me, having an involved narrative is mature. Like that is a more adult tone, and Pokemon has kind of shied away from that, right? Like they don't typically have the most involved narratives from what I understand.
They're very simple narratives. Yeah. They, there's like very like one-dimensional type characters.
I think if they would have taken more from the anime, which was more like an adventure kind of thing,
it was a narrative
game, I think that would have been more successful, at least for me, to start with it.
Yeah.
Because I enjoy
again, that's not adult. Like it's still catered towards kids, the anime.
No, exactly.
So.
But just like for the purposes of our conversation, like if I say something like a more adult tone or a more mature tone, that's what I mean. I'm not saying we need the Pokemon to be killing each other and like ripping each other's throats out and stuff. Like that's whatever. I'm not
looking for like SMT or like some gore in my Pokemon games. It's more
little kids don't need mature they don't need narratives of that kind to entertain them. They need bright colors, fun music, gameplay that's engaging. They're good, right? Like they're fine. But for someone like me, and that's something, Emily, you had said before we started recording, you're like, what would be something that might get me more into those kinds of games? And I think that because for the most part, a lot of the games that I have played in that genre have been really light on the story. That's what I would need. I think more than anything else is like, I'm going to go where the
too could be improved. You know,
I'm going to go where the narrative is. I'm going to go where the interesting characters are, where the story is. Pokemon hasn't really had that, so I haven't felt super compelled to get into it. Now, if the new Pokemon game comes out on the Switch 2 in 2 or 3 years, and people are like, "Oh my God, this should be like an award-winning story. This is amazing," I will pick it up. Right? Like I'm not like, oh, I don't like Monster Country. No, I'll get it because like that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm interested in.
Exactly.
So, and to shift this, I guess, to a different franchise that I think has done pretty well with the narrative is Digimon. Yeah. And they've really, I think, experimented in multiple different ways with their various games over the years. And I feel like that's not as recognized as it should be because I think they're doing things that people have been asking Pokemon to do. Yeah. But they haven't shifted over to Digimon despite that.
Yeah, they kind of from what I've been able to tell, and I'll talk a little bit more about what I'm planning to do with Digimon soon, but they have not always, but they've tended to be more doing what we're saying with like the mature adult approach to that sort of storytelling. I remember even as a kid, I didn't watch the Pokemon anime. I was not interested in it, despite the fact that I was super into anything anime. Like I was ravenous for it, but I wasn't into the Pokemon
kind of
anime.
Lame. I thought it was lame, I think, as a kid.
But I was very into the Digimon anime. Very into Digimon.
I was too.
Yeah. And I didn't know that it was a video game franchise. Honestly, I thought it was just a cartoon. I did not know there were games. It wasn't until many years later that I was like, oh, it was like a whole franchise, huh? Like I loved that show, but... Yeah,
I feel like they were like a hidden secret for a while because I didn't despite also loving the anime and everything, I didn't really play the games for a long time.
See,
I know there were PlayStation, like PS1 games that were Digimon, but not before that, right?
No, I don't believe so.
I don't think there were that many before that.
Not
at least published here.
Yeah. We didn't get that many here. And like even the ones that are on the PS1, like let's say, I have Digimon World. And that game was like, it was more of just like a raising, like Pokemon, like a Digimon raising type narrative game. Okay. It was like not narrative. It was like more of just like a fun, like if you were into Digimon, you'd play this. So it didn't have anything.
It's like, they had the little Tamagotchis back then with Digimon. It's basically kind of doing something like that, but in a different way.
So like Digimon initially, it didn't like get to where we're like impressed with it until I think the Digimon Cyber Sleuth game. I think that was like the first iteration of Digimon gaming that was like took this I wouldn't say expansive narrative, but a narrative and like all of the stuff that kind of started to like, turn it into what it is now and how we think of it.
That came out originally on the Vita. Was it? Was that on the PS3 or PS4?
It was on the
PS4.
PS4
had a remaster or something, right?
Of the Vita version, I think.
Maybe that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I have the PS4 version, and then I got the complete version for the Switch. But yeah,
thing, I feel like they took more risks with the narrative, and especially the side stories. Like they had some really intricate plots that were unexpected, at least for me.
Exactly, and it's I think the beauty of like not being a big IP like Pokemon is that they don't have like all these like.
Don't get me wrong; it's still a big IP. But...
No, it's a huge IP, but like as a game, as within the gaming sphere, like it's not as big, and they like Pokemon has to keep to its tradition because that's what they're expected to do. Yeah. Like Digimon can kind of experiment, and that's how you saw. Like you have like the visual novel, like Digimon Survive,
which is very dark narrative.
Yeah.
So that's freedom to experiment.
The freedom to experiment versus the adherence to tradition, like the Final Fantasy. 。And Dragon Quest dichotomy.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely lean more towards the freedom to experiment as being my preference for a series. But I understand the place of, tradition, especially when it comes to Dragon Quest. I can, having played a lot of Dragon Quest, I can understand that a little easier than I can Pokemon. But
like Pokemon has experimented over the years. Like they've had, their the mystery series, with the kind of rhythm.
They do have the side games.
Yeah, they do spin-offs.
And
Dragon Quest also does
stuff.
spin-offs.
They did Pinball, the trading card
to allow
game.
them to experiment.
Yeah.
So they experimented, just not necessarily, I would say, with the narrative so much, but more of like gameplay, or I guess in making Pokemon more like sentient.
Right.
Too.
Mm-hmm.
Emily, did you ever play Dragon Quest Monsters? Like the newest one?
No, I haven't. Okay. I have it, but I haven't played it yet. I've heard good things.
Yeah, I haven't played it yet. I don't know what how expansive the story is in that game. That's what I've been curious about.
I hear there's ties to one of the Dragon Quest games from the past.
4, right? Or is it 3?
Yeah.
4?
I think it's 4.
It's tied to one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. I need to try that one of these days.
That's something on the backlog, of course.
100%. It's always on the
always something
big.
There.
But I think with like Digimon, it's similar to like what we were talking about with SMT. It's got like that same structure of gameplay, I think, loop and mechanics in terms of like fusing.
You do your fusion
Digivolve,
stuff.
de-evolve, things like that. Yeah. It's more complex. They put more into it, which I guess like might be over the head of like children. So it's not like. I guess you could
the most intuitive.
Yeah, like I guess you can
like they do map out like what you need, but it's hard to sometimes get the stats to be that level. So you could get the desired Digimon to digivolve to that form. And they also have some kind of racy, Pokemon or Digimon that don't look necessarily for children.
Yeah,
not as they're nicely in between the Pokemon and the genital monsters of
SMT. That's true.
That is true.
There's a place for them all, though. They all have a seat at the table.
But they also don't have the mechanics of, like, despite having almost like a demon fusion system, like SMT, Digimon, while it has that, it's more of, instead of negotiating with demons to become on your side so you could then play with them, you just interact with enough of the same sort of Digimon so that you could have the data to make itself and digitize it.
Yeah.
So it's more of like that, it's kind of cyber computer stuff, which I like too. It's a little bit more of a sci-fi edge almost.
Yeah. I enjoy some sci-fi.
That's true. I wonder if that contributed to me liking it more as a kid, because I was always way more interested in that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Possible.
Well, there's a lot of heartfelt moments too, I feel like, in the anime. So.
Oh, I know.
High stakes, and they weren't afraid to kill things.
Yeah. I know. There are some like really sad episodes.
Yeah.
You learn about some certain Digimon and stuff like that. And then like, for God's sake, one Digimon wears another Digimon skin on top of itself. So it's not, I mean, granted, if you look at like, that's the funny thing about Pokemon too, is that like.
Cubone, it has that.
Like, if you like read the description of some Pokemon that you don't usually read, it's super dark in those descriptions.
Well, we know that Game Freak has a lot of dark thoughts, and they don't all get in the games, thankfully, for the sake of the kids. No. But they do have the dark thoughts. And they do write them down.
And they do definitely write them down in the form of fan fiction.
Yeah. But I will say that I'm really excited because we have, the two, Pokemon and Digimon games coming out in October. But I have to say, I'm really excited for the Digimon Stories game. A lot more than the new Legends game for Pokemon.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be picking up the Digimon game like day one. Rather than I don't know if I'm definitely not gonna pick up Pokemon day one.
I'm gonna wait for a revised version because there's gonna be bugs. They'll get eventually revised on the physical cart, so I'll be patient.
I'll wait till like the 10% off.
I'll like it. I actually haven't. Did you ever beat the other Legends game, Arceus?
I did like Arceus, actually.
I got burned out because you kept having to, capture the same Pokemon over and over again. I just got like, it's less interesting to me.
I found it,
but then I was like,
It does get a little bit monotonous, but it as a game, I remember enjoying that one way more than I ever did trying out, like, let's say Violet or even Sword and Shield.
Well, I think the narrative was a little bit more interesting in the Legends game, so I'm curious.
It had more of a narrative. Yeah.
Yeah, for ZA coming out. I'm just a little hesitant with the whole city thing. I don't know.
Yeah. Because like the cool thing about like Arceus is that like it was like kind of a baseline to the timeline. You kind of go back in time and you like learn about
has ties to Johto, right?
Yeah, like it really kind of sets this narrative, and that's what I like. I think that's what like pulled me in a little bit more. It's like narrative is not like huge and expansive like I would want it to, but it does do some things narratively that are more interesting than the typical like go on an adventure, beat these gyms, and go on and fight the version of the Elite Four, or whatever that ends up being for that series of games.
Yeah. And then whoever the champion is at the end.
Exactly. Like it was something a little bit different. I did enjoy that. Another like series of games that are monster catching that are popular, or at least like one of them is very popular, is Ni no Kuni. Originally for the PS3. And so I remember I had a lot of fun. I know Branden's more of a 2 fan.
I've only so I played a tiny bit of the first one. I played the second one in its entirety for review. So yeah, my experience with the first one was very short.
I know that one, like the first one when it first came out, made a huge splash because we had Studio
Ghibli doing that one, the art for that, and it was like beautiful. I remember I pre-ordered that like the second I found out about it. I was like, I need this game. Like Studio Ghibli.
And that one had an interesting narrative too, right?
Yeah, like it was it's extremely sad.
Yeah, it's a Ghibli thing, man. Like
there's always got to be some sort of like there's always some sort of like dead parent involved, and there's got a narrative around that with a child having to deal with that stuff. It's like that's their bread and butter for the Ghibli world, unfortunately. And fortunately, I guess, I don't know, for them.
Yeah, it's fine. It's good.
It's fine. It makes for good narratives. But I love the designs, and it's just the world looked really beautiful in that game. And even the battle system was fun.
Yeah, and I want to say, I'm pretty sure Ni no Kuni 2 didn't really have anything in the monster collecting way.
Not as much.
It was just like an action RPG, which...
Yeah, they kind of dropped it.
Which worked better for me being not like a monster collecting guy. I think maybe that's why I connected with it a little more strongly. I mean, also I had to play it because I was reviewing it, but I think I would have played it even if I didn't have to. So, yeah.
And I guess another one in the sphere is Monster Hunter Stories, which
is
also another take on the genre, a little bit different, where you have like you get these dragon eggs, right? And they kind of randomize which one you get.
Yeah, you sneak in. So this is one I have played a good bit of. You sneak into monster dens and creep out holding the giant egg, and you got to like the whole stealth sequence things you have to do. But you hatch the eggs and you get all the different monsters, and you do like it's turn-based battles. They're it's the thing about the Monster Hunter Stories series that I found really interesting is like it feels so AAA. It feels like so punching above its weight class. And like I want to say I'd like to give the second one a try at some point. The first one didn't hold my attention for the duration. After maybe a dozen or so hours, I kind of was like, I'm kind of over it.
I hear this,
but it was that's what I've heard. Yeah, so I'm interested to try that one out. I don't think it was like in basically all cases, it's never like the monster collecting that loses me. Like the monster collecting is fine. When it becomes something that's like super crucial to moving the plot, like the way you were describing Arceus, where you're having to go out and just catch the same monster over and over.
That's a checklist game.
Yeah, when the mechanic of collecting the monster becomes the focus of the game, I think that's when it's going to lose me a little bit.
Thankfully, most of them aren't like that.
Yeah, So like, I need the narratives to still be the focus. I do think that I will probably give Monster Hunter Stories, the first one, another chance because they did port it to the Switch. So I think I have the double pack. I have something. but maybe just the game by itself. But yeah, I think I'd like to give it another chance on the Switch, and then of course the second one. I did want to jump back real quick because we were talking about Time Stranger coming out. I don't know if we mentioned it by name, but the new Digimon game coming out this fall, Time Stranger. I was thinking about that being my first Digimon game, but then as I've been thinking about it, I've kind of been like, I wonder if like in the lead up to that, I should try playing Cyber Sleuth, the two Cyber Sleuth games. Like if that would be a good way to like wet my feet.
I think they're good. Yeah. I think definitely. And I think the compare and contrast you'll see, because I would say the biggest flaw about the Cyber Sleuth games is when you go to the Digimon like digital world, it's just blue hallways that you go to. It's really lame.
I mean, as somebody who's played a lot of like really lame, random looking dungeon games, I think that will probably not deter me on its own. So we'll see.
And then also just running around like Tokyo, it's okay. Like, but there's not that many places. Like if you played Tokyo Mirage Sessions, it's kind of like that. You run around like Shibuya almost and go into certain buildings.
I think of something like Persona 3 when I hear that. It's like for all the strengths of Persona, there is kind of a lot of that. You're just kind of running around the same areas, and until you get to Persona 5, the dungeons aren't even that interesting. Like they're just hallways that are basically random. So I think I would be okay with that stuff.
And do you have it on the Switch for the Cyber Sleuth games? Or
I think I have them on
you can borrow mine.
Because there is an advantage to the Switch version that I think will come in handy, especially for you, because you don't really care too much about the raising, I'm guessing, of the Digimon.
Right.
In order to evolve them, basically, or Digivolve them is what they call it, you have to have certain stats. And the Switch version lets you kind of put these, your Digimon into these farms where they just kind of self-sustain and raise, like level up themselves. Oh. And you can put it on sleep mode and it keeps doing that. All the other systems, whenever you put your console or something on sleep mode, it's not going to continue raising them.
I see. Interesting.
And so there's a little bit of advantage, and I would say, time saving, especially if you want really powerful Digimon, which you kind of need, I would say, in certain parts of the story.
Okay.
Do you have Hacker's Memory for the PS4?
Yes. Yeah.
You have both of them? Okay. Well, I have the complete version if you want to borrow that.
It's both on the one Switch card?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I love the concept of Hacker's Memory in comparison to the first Cyber one? Because they both take place in the same storyline. Like it happens in tandem with each other. Okay.
Sort of a Golden Sun kind of deal.
Exactly. So you just it's exactly Golden Sun. So you start, a lot of the names that are mentioned in the first game, you start to actually meet those characters in the second game because it happens in their world, what they're doing. And so all these things start to reference each other. And so you get this bigger picture of what's happening in this.
See, already just that alone. I'm like, oh, they have a narrative. They care about a narrative.
Yeah, exactly.
They definitely have a narrative.
No, exactly.
And you're doing all these solving mysteries, and you're helping different Digimon in the world. It's fun.
And being a Trails fan,
weird things.
Exactly. And being a Trails and Daybreak fan, if you think about it, is the first game is the Crossbell arc. It's you're a bunch of detectives, you're straight laced, and the second game you're more gray area, you're kind of the van,
the arc
of the group, and you're just kind of working in between the law a little bit, and so it's kind of fun that way. It's great.
Well, that's good. I'm looking forward to that, especially Time Stranger. Just looking at the trailers. It looks really good. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I need to start taking this seriously. I don't know.
I'm hoping more people start taking it seriously, because I think the Digimon games are fun.
Seriously.
Well, if I like it, I'm going to start shouting it from the rooftops. You know how I get when I fall in love with a game. I just
it's true.
Won't shut up.
I won't
shut up about it.
Never.
People are like,
never
shut up. And I'm like, I won't shut up.
He won't. He never will. No matter how much we try to get him to shut up.
No. Play a different game, Branden. No, you play a different game. Play the game I'm talking about. So
I guess outside the narrative, what other aspect do you guys like about?
So anyways.
I'm just trying to move this along.
No, it's good. You got the reins. Take it.
She's keeping us.
I was just going to ask, outside of the narrative, which we all I think really cherish when it comes to many of JRPGs, just in general. But for monster taming as a subgenre itself, like when it comes to the mechanics, what do you guys usually, I guess, are drawn towards? Like, do you like it when there's higher stakes of maybe your monsters? Like if you battle with them, do you want them to faint if their health goes down, or to completely die, like let's say Fire Emblem style?
Oh, or like Nuzlocke Pokemon runs. Yeah, that's interesting. So one thing that I'll say mechanically that I would appreciate is not having to capture a monster in battle. Like I would say that's not my preference. I don't know. Like finding a monster in the world, finding a creature, awakening it, solving puzzles to get it, doing some other mechanic to get this thing that you then add to your team for the purposes of fighting, like the Monster Hunter Stories approach more, right? Like you are doing other things in the game to get your monsters and then you use them in fighting. That feels more like the sort of thing I would be interested in.
There's always a thing of ethics. I feel like when people talk about, monster taming as a genre, like how are you enslaving these monsters on your side? And so
it's okay. They love it. They love it
before
apparently.
They faint.
You're beating them up until they're unconscious, and then you're brainwashing them. No, that's good. No.
and then you go and you join a dog fighting ring.
And you basically join a fancy government instituted dog fighting ring. That's why I mentioned too, like the SMT, where it's like they are creatures with like they have brains, like they are cognizant of what's going on.
Ulterior motives, probably.
Yeah, and so like you actually have to convince them. It's like if you had to convince a Pokemon to join you, that might be interesting, right? Instead of just throwing crap at it until it passes out, like let's try to find a way to convince it that you're the person it wants to hang out with.
And you don't want to make it pass out too much, or else you miss the chance of capturing it, which that doesn't make sense, right? If it's totally faint, you should be able to grab it, right?
I just walk up to it. Just put it in the ball. Get in there.
Just grab it and just throw it in this ball. It's like limp, like Rattata. Just like...
If you think too much about Pokemon, it does get deeply troubling. I know that's a well-known thing, but it is. Yeah, it's deeply troubling if you spend too much time on it.
Yeah,
but
that's also why I like the for Digimon. You just have to encounter this, digital thing,
and it's digital anyway, so you're then creating it yourself. Yeah,
exactly. And there's it's less worrisome in terms of, I think, how you might feel about yourself after, a real creature.
Well, then you get into the creator versus creation ethics as seen in like Expedition 33, and that gets people fired up as well. So
it's true. Or Digimon actually real monsters?
Like, well, how do you define real? Like, is real?
I played
Digiworld real or not?
Is it real? Like, do they have emotions? Do they have feelings? Do they think? Do they? Yeah.
I played God enough in SimCity. I played God enough in SimCity growing up.
I set Bowser loose on my Super Nintendo SimCity world, and I didn't feel anything. I felt nothing.
Does that make us? Are we terrible?
Am I a monster? Am I a sociopath? Uh-oh.
Oh boy. It's all coming out.
Guilty about that? I don't know.
It's all coming out here on today's podcast episode.
But yeah, anyway, so in terms of mechanics,
yes,
I like the idea of capturing monsters outside of battle and using them in battle.
What
about you, Dalla?
In card form. Would you take card form? Like Yu-Gi-Oh here?
I don't know if I would actually. I've been pretty averse. I haven't played Bot and Kaitos, and I love Monolith Soft. I've been resistant to playing Bot and Kaitos because it's card based. I feel like there's something psychological I would need to get over in order to make that happen.
And are those actual real creatures from a different dimension? That's another kind of Yu-Gi-Oh thing if you get into the anime and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dalla, what about you? What are mechanics that you're looking for?
That I'm looking for in monster catching? Honestly, like mechanic wise, I'm pretty open. Like I'm not too picky on like there needing to be very complex mechanics. I do like, Branden's take on it in terms of like creative ways to
acquire,
but also creative ways to use your creatures of sorts in the world itself.
Pokemon, there's certain elements in the world where you can use your Pokemon to
like
overcome
on one
obstacles. Yeah,
exactly. If it was more like, if you even created like puzzles in a way of like using like, have all these Pokemon that have different, or like all these creatures that have different like types of strategies or powers or things like that might be able to get you through certain areas, or you can think of ways around giving you kind of like freedom a little bit, I think, in terms of like how you can kind of tackle things, and it's not just like
puzzles and stuff. Like they are actual beings, in the world. It's not just you bringing them in your back pocket.
I know, like I don't want to use them just for battling. Like it creates like, because like, that could get monotonous, like, and that's the one thing I kind of get bored with sometimes over a period of time, like in like a Pokemon game or anything like that, or monster catching games in general, and like, or just games in general. Sometimes like if it's like you need something kind of like to fill the world with.
They kind of do that, like if you go into a city, you see Pokemon walking about and stuff, but you can't interact with them. Like I think I was playing on your Switch too with Pokemon Violet, and I wanted to talk to the Pokemon they were leading, but I couldn't.
They got nothing to say to you.
You used to be able to talk to them, like in the original games.
I know, like
they would say like nothing, but still.
Yeah.
Squirtle.
It would literally just be, it would just like sometimes it would just make a noise, like whatever the Game Boy noise it would make for that Pokemon.
Like, like a Meowth, that would be scheming things, behind my back.
Exactly.
Meowth, yeah.
Yes. Actually, it would be nice if they put like morality counter, kind of like made you get to choose like being good and bad, and doing like,
are you gonna join Team Rocket
affect.
Or not?
Yeah, like I want that type of game where like literally you can end the game as part of Team Rocket or something like that.
Yeah, I wonder if they would do that. I wonder if that, like the squeaky clean image, I wonder if they would ever.
I think they would make it, if that was a choice. Team Rocket's not that bad. They're misunderstood.
Oh, are they just misunderstood? Okay, I don't know anything about them.
I mean, like they're probably bad, but like.
But you're saying if they did do that,
if they were to take down that,
you would learn that they were just misunderstood. I get you. Yeah.
Wasn't like the what was it? Sapphire
Giovanni
Ruby. Like they had this whole environmental thing. They're trying to save stuff, right?
Yeah, they were like environmental terrorists of sorts.
Yeah. So they were intended.
So they were Avalanche from Final Fantasy VII.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
those
they're
were the
just
good
like
guys. So
yeah. I mean, they're just like. One man's terrorist is another man's rebel.
I guess so.
That's something I would like to see. That's on a similar note. Is I want whatever creature I have actually, talk to me in the dialogue. In my party, like become an actual member rather than again just hidden in some Pokeball in my back pocket.
Like build an actual.
I want them to help with my decision making and actual conversations. Which I would say Digimon does that to an extent. They have some fixed creatures that will talk to you in the narrative, but not necessarily the ones that you are carrying in your party.
Yeah, I think you can definitely say like, okay, not every if I'm having an open-ended monster catching game, I don't necessarily expect every one of them that I catch to be a vital part of the story, but like some of them certainly, right? Like that makes you feel more connected to those things you're finding.
Like I think SMT would be so interesting, to have some demon who whispers in your ear, well, let's do this.
Right, yeah.
Oh my God.
You're already working with a silent protagonist in SMT, like give somebody something to say.
Exactly.
I want them to go full Senwa Saga, Senwa's journey or whatever.
Or she hears the voices,
hears voices, but like make it where like
talking to you the whole time.
It could be just demons talking to you constantly. There's like one telling you to do like bad or like just things like that. Like it's just like
angel and the devil on the shoulder.
Exactly, angel. That would be fun.
That would be cool. So cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like there's so much potential in a lot of these games, but they kind of just stick to the same mechanics because that's what people are used to and maybe expect. If you go outside of that, they get upset. Like, look at Digimon Survive. Everyone was so upset. And they're like, it's not a tactical game. It's a VN. What is this? Why is it so dark?
Why can't it be dark? No.
It's
a visual novel. They're sometimes dark.
They get dark.
They
That's
get pretty dark.
that's. I mean, I guess that's fandoms, right? Like you were saying earlier, they, a lot of times they don't have the series. They don't have series grow with the audience because they don't want to upset the people that want it to stay kind of in stasis. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so funny to think about because I know that that's a very popular opinion in a lot of franchises. Like it's one that I've never shared. I am like totally fine creatively. Like if you as a director of a game want to do something different with a franchise that I love, I say, go for it. Go nuts. Like if I don't like it, okay, I don't like it. Like not everything 100%. Is for me,
No, exactly. Cause like, if you think about it, like they don't want to sit there. Like if they're going to like their director, they want to be creative. Like if they're making the same game over and over again, like it's going to show in every game they make that like, they're just not happy. Like,
yeah. Or the things they are creative with are not that interesting. Like, example,
no, exactly.
I don't like some of the so-called creative things they've done in Pokemon with like the mega evolutions and stuff. I don't know. That stuff never appealed to me.
The super jumbo ones in Sword and Shield, they make them like Gigantamax or whatever.
and all those,
Yeah.
It just felt like that was just like tagged on as like a...
It seemed, gimmicky in a way.
It just exactly. It just didn't feel like it was natural. It just like, oh, we have to add this. We have to add one thing, and it's got to be something. And so like, we'll just make them big.
Because of
you're gonna stay within the lines. You're gonna color within the lines, but we're gonna give you one little corner of the picture that you can kind of freehand if you want. But the rest of it's got to be exactly as it needs to be. Yeah, and I don't mean to be overly critical of Pokemon, especially because I haven't played it personally. Like, I don't want to be the guy saying like Pokemon needs to change this or that. It's like, no, Pokemon can do whatever it wants.
Exactly.
Like I say, if it
decided
it's
not for us, it's okay.
Right. It's like if it wanted me to be a customer, it would need to do some of these other things, but it doesn't need me. So it's
and we
totally
have other
fine.
ones to look forward to. Like I think Time Stranger definitely is one that we're all looking forward to, and I'm sure maybe Monster Hunter Stories will continue. I don't know how well that did, but
I hope it does. I mean, the Monster Hunter series in general is so massive. You feel like
there'll be more SMT, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely more SMT, and like
Persona's kind of adopted that similar kind of monster collecting thing. I mean, I don't even say adopted it. It's always been that. Like it's always had monster collecting, really. So
other
I'm just waiting for a Trails version.
Spin-offs. Yeah, Trails might have something.
Trails spin-off,
I want to collect shiny palms.
Collecting shiny palms.
Shiny palms.
Yeah,
or those oversized squirrels.
I feel like the monsters in Trails aren't interesting enough, as they currently exist, to be like to sustain a monster collecting game. Like
they don't have a cute factor.
They're not cute. No, like there's palms, right? They're cute.
They're cute.
That's kind of it. Like I think about some of the abominations that you fight in the places with high elemental.
Penguins I'm okay with.
The penguins are cute.
The things that the thing I'm talking about when you go to the areas with like the high elements or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
The monsters, like
those
the
are
abominations you fight there. It's like I don't want to collect that. I'll just kill it. I just kill it.
Yeah, those things need to be burned.
Yeah. Burn it with fire, cleansing fire. Yeah.
I feel like they would need to create like a spinoff where they find like an alternate. Well, they end up in an alternate digital world that has like
the what's it called? Marian Garden?
like kind of like Marian Garden, but
Martian Garden.
Martian, Martian exactly. Garden. So they could create a whole new version of that and just make it like focused on monster collecting.
Only on this podcast can we take the topic of monster collecting RPGs and have a big Trails tangent. That's ridiculous. We're ridiculous.
We have problems.
I would say there's some other franchises that have also taken the monster collecting in a different way. Like Kingdom Hearts, for example, did that with Dream Drop Distance. And they had these cute little dream eater things.
I still need to play that
true.
one.
I liked that one. It was fun on the 3DS.
You played it on the 3DS? Okay.
I did.
Yeah, I have the collection, the PS4.
I don't know how it plays on there, but the 3DS is fun. And graphically impressive, which is typical, I would say.
Yeah.
I hope this is just a beloved subgenre that I could see more, franchises tapping in. Though I would like them to try something a little bit different, if they were to do that.
No.
Because
I
I think
agree.
a lot of indie games right now, they are kind of adopting the Pokemon aesthetic because that's what people are looking for.
People are nostalgic for
type
it.
of Pokemon.
Yeah,
The kids
and I know
who
we
grew
didn't
up playing Pokemon are now making video games, and yeah, I mean it makes sense.
we didn't touch a lot on indie like like hunting it. We haven't played a lot of like
I haven't played
I've
them.
not.
Yeah,
I know
I
they
just
exist,
know
and
them.
there's like popular games like cassette beasts and things like that, which I hear are really good. And so for those who are interested in trying those out, go ahead. There's plenty of them out there, but we don't have too much experience in that area. So,
and then what's the one that basically took the Pokemon designs with guns?
Oh yeah,
Pal World.
Pal World. That was, I think, a little short-lived there.
I was just reading an article about it the other day. I think because like they're still in like litigation hell with Nintendo is trying to find a lawsuit and they cannot
trying to find a way to sue them.
I know, like it was like the article I just read was that they were shifting strategy on how they're going to sue them, and because everything else wasn't working and this one was likely to also not work
for a game that was like made a big splash and then it's just kind of like, I guess it still exists but nobody talks about it anymore. Like
it's fizzled out. They should just like leave it.
Yeah,
like, they're the more
AI generated nonsense. Like even if they didn't use AI to generate those monsters, which I'm not convinced, even if they didn't, they definitely had an AI name it, because what the heck, Pal World, like that's your first draft idea. You don't go with that. They're like that, but something better.
It worked though. It worked.
I mean, the game worked. I don't know if the title just made me roll my eyes. They made a lot of money
initially. I don't know about now. I feel like.
Yeah, the gameplay loop was apparently, Pokemon with guns, right? That's the kind of like mentality that a lot of people think of when we were talking in the beginning, like make it adult. It's like that's the easy way to make something adult is like make it violent, make it. It's like
exactly.
Okay.
I tried that game for a second because I was like, I had to like, it was like free on it was free on Xbox, and so like I downloaded it and I was like, all right, let me just see what this is like, what this is about. And it is the jankiest. Like I did not have any fun with it. I'm sure a lot of people maybe had fun.
I know people enjoyed it, and I don't mean disrespect, people enjoyed it, but it's just no disrespect. I just don't understand it.
It was too janky, and it was like a lot of like, just like it felt too much like you're building like a base of things and you're building all this stuff, and I'm sitting there going like I hate that type of game where you have to sit there and just like build out this whole like sequence of like base like items and stuff like that. It's just like it gets boring and monotonous after a while.
Yeah,
it wasn't your gameplay loop.
No, exactly.
That's why I didn't try it.
Yeah, I just wanted to see what the whole
what's
hubbub was about. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think we might be surprised by the Pokemon Company at some point, especially if Time Stranger does really well.
Yeah,
maybe that would move them to
I'm hoping they're taking notes. The feedback they've gotten from their customers about releasing unpolished games and the direction the industry is moving with other competitors in the space. Like, I hope that they do. I hope that they do.
I hope so.
Because I don't think that train can run forever on just what they have right now. I think they need to innovate outside of just the margins,
For sure, because I think there's, always something that could come in. Like I know Yokai Watch was about to, enter the space and then it kind of fell off, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. But I feel like there's always opportunities, for the new big thing to make a splash.
Yep,
exactly. And I know I was, I could be a little bit negative on Pokemon right now, but that's because I just feel the most nostalgia for it. And it's like, I want to a little bit better here and there, but I still love it.
Create heights that you think it deserves.
Yeah, exactly. I see the problems it has are things that are solvable. Like they don't have to make buggy games. Like they don't have to make games that are like that. Like it's just things that I look at it and it's like, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed kind of feeling.
You don't need an open world or empty world.
Exactly. I don't care about open world.
A linear experience is totally fine.
100%. Give me it, like, if you want to make it a linear experience and then have open world places where you can catch Pokemon, awesome. Like, just make it more meaningful experience rather than just like for the sake of like open world, make a game that just doesn't work well. Just play within your means if that's all you can do. Like, and that's fine.
And I think that's a great place to end it. I think we've hit on a lot of the franchises. At least I know there's some that I'm forgetting.
Yeah,
there's got to be like
we have like
I just mentioned
tangents.
Yokai Watch very briefly.
Yokai Watch briefly, but I think there's got to be more even. But
for sure.
But let us know, especially if there's a series that we didn't mention that you love. You who are listening / watching, let us know in the comments what those series might be, because maybe we've never heard of them. There are definitely like series in this genre I'm sure that I have very little or absolutely no experience with personally. So
exactly, there's plenty out there. And let us know if there's any really good indie games that we're not aware of that like might hit some of the things that we talked about that we should check out, like, because I'm always out looking for that stuff. So let us know in the comments. Yeah,
I do feel like the indie developers that grew up with Pokemon that are making games now, there have got to be some of them that are like me, at least, in terms, or like us in terms of how we think about narratives, that want to have that gameplay with these other more mature kind of things attached. So I would love to hear what some of those might be.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll wrap up today's episode with that. And we will be continuing on over on the after show for Pursuer level members who want to hear us chat about, I guess, more on this topic and other stuff. And I guess until next week.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.